Speaking about raising blood pressure rates here, New York City bracing for a new influx of migrants as Title 42 put in place to limit border crossings during the pandemic. It's coming to an end on Thursday. So in preparation for the new arrivals, Mayor Eric Adams announced plans to relocate hundreds of migrants to Rockland County.
But leaders there strongly opposed to the plan, and over the weekend, officials declared a state of emergency prohibiting any outside municipality from bringing people to Rockland County for housing. With more on this plan, we're joined now by Rockland County Executive Ed. Nice to have you on Good Day, New York.
Good morning. And just so we know, my blood pressure is fine, and I'm ready to do the same dance Reagan's doing.
Okay, fabulous. County Executive, did the mayor's team reach out to you and explain that they were going to be housing migrants in one of the hotels in your area and that they would be paying for it for 4 months?
Absolutely not. The mayor never called me. The staff people, one staff person called looking for Teresa Kenny, the supervisor of Orangetown's phone number. I repeatedly asked him 3 times, what's going on that's that important to be doing a Thursday night cell phone phone call. He refused to tell me. Teresa Kenny finally found out, I believe Friday afternoon, she found out that there was not a question, it was not a request. It was, you're getting people without telling us where they were going to be, did not tell us when they were coming. If they were vetted, if they had an criminal investigation done on who these people were, 340 males we determined, and didn't tell us where they were going. Except they were arriving imminently. That is exactly what happened.
So let me ask you: have you tried to reach out to Mayor Adams?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm not. The mayor knows where I am. He can call me. He's looking, for starters, he's looking to break local law to do this. Number one, you cannot have a shelter, which is what this is going to be. It's not zoned for that here in Rockland County. The basic groundwork was never done. So right out of the gate, he's not going to be able to do this legally. And if the mayor wants to speak to me, let him be a man and pick up a phone and call me. He has never called me. He's had his staffers disrespect me and only text me and call me. I don't work that way.
County Executive, why do you think he picked Rockland County? Why do you think he picked Orange County to send this influx of migrants to? What do you think is the reason for that?
I don't know. I mean, some have said that it's a political thing, and there's a lot of political conversation going on. Apparently, the mayor was very upset that governors from the South sent migrants to his city. He called that morally bankrupt. What I find hysterical at this point is the mayor is doing the exact same thing to Rockland County, which has a Republican county executive, a Republican town supervisor, Orange County, a Republican county executive. I have heard nothing going to Westchester, which is a Democratic county executive, and we have a very good relationship, by the way. So I don't know. All I know is it's ill thought out, if you even can call that thought out. This is just a horrible idea, bringing in 300 plus adult males into a small hamlet area, which has no services and no ability to take care of those people.
Well, Kenny, let me ask you a question, though, because when we look at what we have to deal with here in New York City, it's at capacity. There's not much else that can be done. What would have been a better solution instead of shipping them to your county?
I think the better solution for the mayor would have been to think before he opens his mouth. When you turn around and talk about, I want to be an sanctuary city, there are ramifications about that. Rockland County never did that. We're not a sanctuary county. And we have taken care of the migrants who are here. We have migrants coming here already. And what they're doing is they're showing up because they have friends and family here. And it's a flow. It's a flow we can handle. We don't have the infrastructure in place, the social service infrastructure in place, which, by the way, you can't use social services funding for this anyway. But we don't have the ability to take on a number of people like this. So, frankly, Bianca, my answer to that, this is the mayor's problem, not mine. And it's not Steve Newhouse's. It's not Teresa Kenny's. The mayor this is a creation of the mayor of New York, who wanted to be popular and opened his mouth and made a statement. Well, now you got what you asked for. You got $1 billion from the state of New York. That's what you demanded, Mr. Mayor. Okay, you got the money. Where's the money going to? What are you doing to house these people in your own community? I don't see that at all. This is just not the way things are done. You do not turn around and make policy for other municipalities. First of all, it's inappropriate. Number two, it's not even legal. Mayor Adams can't tell me what to do. I hate to break the news to him.
Oh, boy. Well, the mayor has issued a statement, and through Fabian Levy, who just sent it to me at 8:14. He said New York City has cared for more than 61,000 migrants, sheltering, feeding, caring for them. We've done so largely without incident. We need the federal government to step up, but until they do, we need other elected officials around the state and county to do their part and emulate the humane and compassionate approach New York City has taken over the past year. Are you up for that?
We have done the humane approach. We do it every day here. It's a process. We object to having 300 plus people dropped on us in one time. That can't be done. That is not doing the right thing by people. That is making things worse.
County Executive, it goes on to say the Rockland County Executive has sadly already shown he is not a leader this state needs. Instead, we've been met with racist rhetoric and reprehensible threats from the head of the county that will be tasked with caring for less than 1/4 of the 1% of the asylum seekers who have come to New York City.
Okay, first of all, it's interesting that the mayor throws out the race card so soon. It tells me more about him than about me. The fact of the matter is, Mayor Adams referred to white people as crackers, and that's on video. So don't lecture me, Mr. Mayor. It doesn't work that way. We're both from the same background, NYPD. So stop the nonsense, number one. Number two, our homeless population right now is about 70 people. 70, that's it. And it takes a lot of hard work to maintain those numbers low. What he's proposing is to bring in 5 times that number, who eventually will be homeless because at some point they have to leave the hotel. And as far as being humane, look, the reality is that we have services here and they're stressed and strained in housing. One school district has 1,000 children already that ill afford to handle. Foster care for children who are being hurt by these misguided policies, up 35%. We have to find homes for these people. The fact of the matter is, we have an ability to take care of a finite amount of people, and I liken this to the analogy of a lifeboat. A lifeboat is a great thing to have. It helps in a time of crisis on the high seas. But the bottom line is that the lifeboat has a capacity. And if you don't respect that capacity, not only do the new people getting into the lifeboat go, the people who were there already go down. And that's what's happening here. People who are here in Rockland County are being shut out of pantries.
What are you going to do, though? Because when they said, hey, we are sending them there, it's non-negotiable, they're coming there by the buses. What happens when they show up to the county's doorstep?
What happens is that they will be looked at. If we see them coming in, the law enforcement will address it. They will inform them that they're in violation of the state of emergency. That comes with a $2,000 per day per violation, which means if 50 migrants showed up, that's $2,000 per migrant on an everyday basis. That would be levied on the city and also on any hotel operator who takes them in. And that's the bottom line. You're breaking. If they do it, they're breaking the law. So that would be twice that Mr. Mayor Adams is breaking the law. So instead of calling me names, he's engaging in criminal activity now. Okay, he's breaking the law for zoning, and would be breaking the law for doing this. And don't tell me it's non-negotiable. What do you mean non-negotiable? This is my county, Mr. Mayor. That's your city. I respect your position as a mayor of New York City. Don't you dare tell me it's non-negotiable.
Ed Day, Rockland County Executive. Okay, I think you need to meditate a little bit.
I was going to say, take a big breath. Let's make sure the blood pressure drops.
I'm going to have to tell you, the Irish gets the best of me once in a while, but I'm still okay, and I'm half Italian. That calms me down, Rosanna.
All right. Mr. Day, thank you so much for talking to us. I'm sure we'll be talking to you in the next few days. Appreciate it.
Okay, you take care of yourselves. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.